Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of the harvest season. My name is Al.
And my name is Cody.
And we're here today to talk about farming games. Woo! Hi, Cody.
Hi.
We're going to talk about... I don't know whether it's just Discord is really out of sync or not, but I feel like you're as delayed as Johnny is just now.
No, I definitely am responding right after you say it.
Fair enough. Well,
so there's just a delay.
We're experimenting with new ways of doing things, listeners. So we'll see how that goes. But it appears that the current way we're doing it is very delayed.
Woo!
So this is going to be the second harvest of Coral Island. So we did an episode, I think, quite early on in the early access. I can't even remember who that was. Who was the other person on that?
You had Bev on with you.
Okay, it was me and Bev. That's fine. So obviously now it is in 1.0. So we wanted to revisit it. And obviously I have some different thoughts on it. Obviously people know my overall thoughts if they listen to the Game of the Year episode. But we wanted to get in a bit more detail about some of the specific things. And Cody has now played it as well. Not as much as me, but I suspect that's most people haven't played it as much as me. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it was robbed.
Oh, interesting.
Like it should have been Game of the Year.
Wow. Well, I agree, but what can you do? Before that, we have some news, quite a bit of news. But first of all, Cody, what have you been up to?
I have been up to the holiday break from my PhD, but I've actually been doing a lot of work during the holiday break because I'm going to Oregon, which is where I'm from. I'm going there for 2 weeks here in about a week. So I was just trying to get a lot of work done so that I can go home and just relax, which is nice. But I have been playing Coral Island, surprise, surprise, and Palia, which I'm really enjoying.
Do you want to share any initial thoughts on Palia, or do you want to leave that?
The initial thoughts are good, and I'm excited to possibly, I don't know, mayhap talk about it sometime soon.
What? Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what about you, Al? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I have also been up to, Christmas and stuff, but now back at work and kids are back at school. It feels weird because I've not podcasted in quite a while, despite there being episodes every week. It was before Christmas that we did the last episode recording. Mm-hmm. That was the one that I slept through.
Which you didn't mention in the podcast itself.
Of course I didn't mention that. I wasn't going to mention that. I was still grumpy about it. We were meant to be recording, for the listeners, we were meant to be recording at 5 a.m. my time, and I set an alarm for 4:45, and I was like, do I need multiple? I normally set multiple alarms, and then I always wake up with the first alarm. So I'm not going to set multiple alarms this time, because it's just pointless. And then I woke up without an alarm and went, I have woken up naturally. There is no way I haven't missed this podcast recording if I'm waking up naturally. And I looked at the time and it was, of course, 7 a.m. So I had missed entirely the time that we were meant to be recording. So I got back on, and of course Cody had gone to bed because it was 2 a.m. Cody time. So of course you had gone to bed. Johnny was still up though, because he is on the other side of the world. And then I was like, do we try and rearrange? Because this was the 23rd, 22nd of December. Like, it was basically our last chance to record before Christmas. And then after Christmas, Johnny was going away on holiday, and obviously it's the time between Christmas and New Year is not a good time to be recording a podcast. So I was like, well, let's just do it, Johnny. Let's just record. So I recorded that episode just before work, and it was very much time boxed because I had my morning meeting, which we had to get done, obviously. So I think we had an hour and a half at the absolute most for both the main and greenhouse recording.
Well, you got it done.
Oh,
yeah, I tried to stay up It was almost 1:00 here, and I was so tired. And Johnny was trying to ask me questions about Palia, because we were talking about Palia at that time. But my brain was just so, like, it just kept stuttering, and, like, I couldn't form words. And I was like, even if Al were to show up right now, I don't think I could do this. So I was like, either you guys just record, or Al can reach out to me and he and I can, like, reschedule, or whatever ends up working. Just let me know later. I'm gonna go bed. So I woke up and saw that y'all had recorded. But I mean,
so apologies, listeners, for the lack of a Codey episode, but we're making it up for it with this episode.
Well, the games that I was excited about were mostly Palia, and then also Tales of the Shire, which I'm doing a second harvest on. I'm putting it here first. I'm bagging the second harvest. So whoever else wants to do the second harvest with me can fight for it, because yeah.
But I think we know it's Bev, right? Like, Bev's already bagged that one as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, I don't think we have had a game where we've had 4 people fighting over the episode for that game.
So I was doing dishes when I was listening to the episode, and, like, I heard you say, like, I'm doing it, and then clearly Johnny's doing it because he's, like, from New Zealand, is friends with the developer, et cetera, and I, like, heard you say that you're bagging it, and I, like, was like, no, and I, like, started washing my hand, like, drying my hands off furiously so I could text furiously on the Slack. And then, like, as I'm, like, washing my hands and grabbing my phone, you're like, I'm sorry. I know other people are probably really excited to do that game, but I'm calling it. And I was just, like, so grumpy. It was so fun, though. I'm excited to play that game.
I mean, maybe we should try and do our first 4-person episode. What do you think?
That would be a thing, wouldn't it? Or just have 2 simultaneous episodes. Have the greenhouse be other 2 people. Anyway.
Just record 2 separate middle sections and stick them together.
Anyway, Al, what if you...
That sounds like it would either be an amazing idea or an absolutely dreadful idea. Did we not do something a while ago which was just like everybody recorded like a 10-minute thing on something and I smooshed them all together?
Yeah,
and it kind of worked, but it was also so much work.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that not fun to record?
I think it was fine to record because everybody was doing it individually.
Right. Sorry, edit. I mean edit. Wasn't it not fun to edit?
Yeah. It was definitely the most amount of time I've spent editing an episode. And considering the episode was less than an hour long and I've edited 3-hour-long episodes, like that's,
yeah,
that's a lot. That's impressive.
Yikes.
All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about some news. Wait, I didn't actually say what I've been playing.
Yeah,
I've been playing Super Mario RPG, which it turns out I don't like. I think I figured out that I'm not a fan of games anymore where combat, like, you go from the overworld to another place to battle, because I don't even like that in Pokemon anymore. It just annoys me, like, just taking you out of it feels like, I know it's not because it's still the game, but it feels like it's taking me out of the game into another game at that point. And it just I feel like I'm just at the point where I'm like, I don't like that anymore and I don't want that, and therefore I don't think I like turn-based games anymore, because I don't think it's possible to do a turn-based game without doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'd like that either. I also don't really like turn-based games, so.
Well, I used to say I only like turn-based games, right? Because, like, Pokemon was my thing and that was all it was. But I think at this point I don't want to, like, I don't want battles like that. Right? And I like action adventure games where your battle is, like, joined into the overworld experience and you can just run away if you want. You don't have to, like, get into this separate weird world that exists. Yeah, I don't whatever. Yeah. I feel like I've explained that enough. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I'm not going to finish that. But I also playing Luigi's Mansion 3, which I am enjoying. That is a very good game.
I couldn't. So I tried to play the first Luigi's Mansion, and I did not get very far because I remember getting stuck on something and just being really grumpy about it. But I could see how it could be a good game.
I've gotten to the point where with games, because I mean, it's essentially a puzzle game, right? I've gotten to the point where with puzzle games, if I'm annoyed with something, just Google it. Yeah. Right? Like if I'm enjoying the game in general and there's a specific thing that I'm stuck on and I'm annoyed by it, what's the point in continuing? Like the 3 options: 1, continue to be annoyed; 2, quit the game; 3, Google it and continue enjoying the game that you're actually enjoying. Like it's a no-brainer to me now.
Yeah, I try. So like there are some people though. So there are some people that play games and they Google it immediately. They're like, I don't know where to find this. And I'm like, you're not even trying. Like, you're not even trying to explore the world. You don't look at the quest log where the quest log says exactly where the thing is. This is something I've seen in Palia, like some of the people like on
goodness me.
Yeah. Some people like on the MMO, like chat will be like, where is this thing? And I'm like, it's literally in the quest log. It tells you where to go. So, but I agree. Like, if I can't figure something out,
just say my name next time, Codey.
if I like genuinely cannot figure it out, that's when I'll Google it. But other than that, I'm not just gonna Google it immediately. So,
yeah, I think there's different kind of tolerance levels. I would say for these things, and do what you will. Just whatever. All right, we're on the same page. All great, fantastic, lovely. Right, Yay. That's what we've been up to.
Woo!
Woo! Should we talk about some news? This is the first one's yours, Codey. Research story: the 0.7 creatures and caves update. Have you looked into this?
Other than this clicking this link, no. So the big issue that I have with some of these games when they're on Steam or whatever is if they're Windows only, like in order to play them, I have to come into this very specific room of my house, which is the podcast recording room as well, which is fine. But it's a room that I don't like. It's because of my ADHD. It's like out of sight, out of mind. Like I pass it every day, but I never go into it. It has a lot of specimens in it right now. So it's like a lot of stuff that I'm trying to avoid. So I don't come in here very often. So I haven't really been playing any games that require Windows specific on Steam, unfortunately. But this is really cute. I mean, this update looks really cute. It has like new things that you can research. Like I think it was like 4 creatures and some plants and some fish, and a new festival. And they said that there's new creature behaviors. So I blurbed this part that says, quote, during certain behaviors such as foraging and hiding, creatures will not be interested in players' feed bowls. Wait for the creature to start wandering again before attempting to tame them, end quote. So that makes sense. Like if they're foraging or if they're scared and they're hiding, they're not going to be interested in like what you're trying to bait them with. So I think that's really cool because it's true to life as well. Like if you put out bowls, this is actually, I literally have a paper coming out about this, like a scientific paper about how like if you put out an attractive trap when there's a lot of flowers, you're not going to catch very much because they don't give a crap about your trap. There's flowers everywhere. Like they're not coming to you. This is about bees. So, I like that. I like that a lot.
Isn't everything?
So, what about you? Have you done anything with Research Story?
No, I don't own it. I was going to say, Codey, there is a solution to your problem with needing to go onto your Windows computer. It is a solution that costs money, but that is by a Steam Deck.
Well, if the podcast wants to send me a Steam Deck, I will.
The podcast can't even afford to buy me a Steam Deck. I had to buy that myself.
If a listener wants to buy me
you're waiting quite a while,
then I will play these on the couch forever and I will cover anything people want me to cover. Yeah, so I mean, Research Story, cool. It's cool to see that
feels like a dangerous thing to say, Codey.
I know. It's cool that they're like continuing to develop it, and it's continues to be something that we talk about. I really like that. There are some games that I was excited about or have covered before that just kind of dropped off the radar, but this is cool to see.
Yep. Awesome sauce. So if you're enjoying that, go play it. Go download the update.
Do it.
Speaking of games that you have played, Cody, that have updates, here's Lens Island as well with the Companions and Languages update. We did know about this update before. We knew that it was adding a bunch of languages, but we had absolutely no idea what the Companions part of that was. But we now know that you can have pet companions, including dogs, cats, wolves, and tigers.
I also still am continuously wanting clarity on simplified Chinese. Because of what you discussed last time. Like, I don't really know what they mean by that, but it's whatever. The companions are really cool. I'm really excited to play this again. This is a game that I have on my Mac. And since I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks, this is something that is on my radar. This and Palia are the two things that are on my radar to try and like pick up again and get caught back up with. The pet companions are really cool. So yeah, dog, cat, wolf, and tiger. And each of them are findable or tameable during different times of the game. So like, for example, they mentioned that the dog is unlocked after you defeat the first dungeon, which is really cool. And they also have purposes. So it's not just aesthetic. They'll actually do things. So like dogs and cats can retrieve items for you. They mentioned that the wolf and the tiger will like fight with you. Like they'll just be a part of your attack team. So yeah, I like that a lot. I am curious to know if you can customize the skin of the dog or the cat, because I do want to make my dog in every game. So yeah. Have you played Lens Island at all?
Fair enough. I played Lens Island for about 10 minutes right when it first released, when it had no controller support, and I tried to use like a mapping to the mouse and keyboard sort of stuff, and it did not work really well. And I went, I will come back to this when they add controller support. And they now have controller support, but I've still not gone back yet. So I do plan to play it again at some point. I feel like it's forever in like the list of games that we want to cover. Oh, did we cover it eventually, or did we not?
Covered it once. So Bev and I talked about it once, like right when it came out, and it had the bare minimum at that point. So it has come so far since then. There's so much more to it. I haven't played since all of that stuff changed, so I'm really excited to rejoin the game and see all of the different things that they've added to it. Because I think when I did it, there was only like 3 or 4 different crops that you could plant, and it was really simple, and there was just the one dungeon, and I mean, I was pretty far in it, but I hadn't even fully explored that yet. It was just so simple, and now it's a lot more built out, so I'm really excited to play it again. So we should cover it again.
Yeah, so it looks like yeah, definitely. It looks like it came out in early access in 2021. So it's over 2 years now since it went into early access. Now, to be fair, their early access stuff, which they had to put up at the beginning, does say it will come out of early access between late 2023 and early 2024. So they aren't late based on their own schedule.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything about whether that's still the schedule or not, because that would assume it's happening in the next few months, and I haven't seen anything about that.
I mean, they're still putting stuff out.
No, I did. They put the roadmap up. We talked about this last year. The roadmap says the final release will come out in July.
There you go. That's probably when we'll cover it then.
Yeah.
Cool.
I cover too much stuff that I just forget about these things.
Yeah.
Also, no, don't say that, Cody. We're not saying that's when we'll cover it. I'm not promising that.
We'll cover it sometime after July.
July is a dangerous time.
After July.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cover it at some point.
Maybe. So I have Googled, and some Chinese people have said that generally when people say Chinese, they're referring to Mandarin, not Cantonese. Okay. So when they say simplified Chinese, what they're meaning is Mandarin in simplified character.
Sounds good.
But I feel like, stop saying Chinese, because like that's not a language. It just whatever.
Okay.
Grumble.
Grumble.
Song of the Prairie speaking of updates with 0.7 updates. No, speaking of games with 0.7 updates. Don't know why this is the 0.7 update episode. But there we go. Song of the Prairie have a 0.7 update out. I didn't actually read through this, did I? Added second. Oh, yes. Yeah. So it's mostly like small stuff, but they've added what they've called the second homeland, which interestingly is like the 18th thing they mention on this list, right? The first 7 are bugs. The next 10 are adjustments and optimizations. And then they finally talk about the fact that they've added a whole new area in the game as the 18th thing on the list.
Yeah. Gotta get those bugs out, though. Gotta like mention what you've been working on and what you've been fixing before you can talk about what you've added.
It's just like some of these are like such random tiny things as well. And you're like, maybe put the fact that you've added a whole new region up at the top.
No, priorities.
Dear. I've not played this game. You've not played this game.
Nope.
There's a bunch of extra stuff. I don't know. Do we care about the extra stuff?
I just like literally glanced through it and was like, I see haircuts. I see a water balloon festival. I see romantic events. Cool. Like, I'm still not going to play it. So.
Oh, well. But a game I will play, and I suspect most people will play, is Snackle. They have come out with let's start out with, they are absolutely smashing through updates. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw that they released an update on Christmas Day, right? Like, their updates are coming thick and fast all over the place. So I think we certainly know what their plan is. But yeah, so there's 2 things. Most of it is like, here's a new update with some bug fixes, right? Fine, okay. But they have 2 specific ones I want to call out. The first is they had an update with some more accessibility settings, which is good. So this is just an example of how you can listen to people and actually change things based on their things. So they've added an ability to change the like saturation and contrast in the game. So if you have some eyesight issues and this helps, that's great. And secondly, they've released a roadmap so they've said that these are roughly in the order they will release them in, but not certain. But they've kind of given 4 updates that are going to come out, one of which is the gamepad support update, which is obviously one that I'm very much looking forward to. The progression update, which includes house upgrades and tool upgrades. The feature update, which includes a bunch of stuff, including the mines and festivals, but also new shrines and buildables and marriage, or which they're calling bonding. And the final one is the optimization, improving stability, improving performance, quality of life. So I think, assuming that is the order they come out, that's a good order for them to come out, because we talked about this last year sometime where I was like, so often in early access, they leave the final update with this massive feature coming out that nobody has ever tested. And so they still end up in a situation where their 1.0 version is buggy. And it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing that. So that's good.
I saw 3 things that I really liked in this news point. So my first one is that the accessibility update is 0.9.0_5284. Love that. It's great. That's a great version number. And then I loved how they said meow low in the roadmap post. That was very cute. And then on the roadmap picture, that pie looks really good. But no, I think this all sounds really good. No, I think this all sounds really good. So similar to like how in Song of the Prairie, it's like, cool, they're adding stuff. Doesn't matter. Not going to play it. This is the opposite, where I'm like, cool, they're adding stuff. I'm still going to play it. Like, this changes not much. Like, I'm like, just take your time. This looks good. Excited for the final product. Good job, Eloise. So, no, wait. Arissa. It's Arissa.
Nope. Yep. Mixing up your indie farming game.
Eloise is lemon cake. right? Cozy B
Correct.
Games. Yeah. Okay, cool. I know all, I mean, we just know all these people by name. I mean, there's also Elle from Apico. I mean, we just know them all by their first name. They just get them all mixed up because they all start with E. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
I feel like I need to talk about the version number thing because I'm about to complain about Paleo Pine's version number, so fine, sure, I'll complain. Snacko feels so close to being like a good numbering system because clearly what they've done, right, is they've taken their build number, 5284, and they've put that in the version number. Great. Why have we got this random 0.9.0 at the beginning? That has been the same for all of their versions so far. The first version that came out, let me just double check the exact number, just to make sure that I'm not giving you incorrect information, listeners. The first release they gave was... I don't know.
But you bet it started with 0.9. No, I don't know.
Well, possibly. I'm not guaranteeing that, right? I bet it's going to be 0.9.0 underscore some number.
I love the underscore. I love how there's points and then underscores. I love that. Chef's kiss.
You just love it because it annoys me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can't see any other version before 0.9.0 underscore 4956. So, Snacko, sort out your version numbers. Just use the build number.
No.
Right? It's fine.
No. You do what you like.
I don't.
You do what works for you, Arissa.
I don't know. So, like, at the very least, put it 0.9 point build number, right? Why is there the 0 there? That is unnecessary because the whole point of that one is because it's like a patch update. But your patch updates you're using as the build number after the underscore. I wasn't going to mention it, and then you brought it up. I was obviously just so riled up.
Well, continue to be riled up, Al, because these next two news items also have version number issues. Let's go.
Paleo Pines. It's a major version update. Why are they releasing it as 1.2.28? It's just silly.
I mean, what? Like, I guess I don't understand. Like, what is their 2.8? Let me go back. Let me look at what their other... Like, was the last one 2.7? No, the last one
this is now version number the podcast.
Their last one was 1.2.23. Why have they gone up by 5?
Yeah, and that was a bug fix update. This one is a content update. Why are they doing this to me?
Oh, they're doing it by 5s. Nope. They did it by 8 last time. Ugh.
I want to die. New dino colors. There you go. They've also added a nice looking feature, Seasoned Rancher Start, they're calling it, which is basically just a new game plus. So after you've played the game the first time, you can create a new save and skip the first 5 days of the game, which is the tutorial. So this is good. More games should do. Codey's like, I don't really care.
No, I was getting lost in the comments section of the update, and I was like contemplating if I wanted to go down that rabbit hole, but I have chosen no. So, 2 Pixelia.
The 2 Pixelia Alpha is out now. It's only for Kickstarter backers who backed the alpha level. So you have to get it through Kickstarter itself. It's not on Steam or anything. I wrote don't mention the version number, but I've not actually... I can't remember what that was because I didn't actually write it down.
Don't blank it out of your mind. Keep it. The alpha's out now. If you backed Pixelia, if you backed Pixelia, you're probably getting an email or something from Kickstarter to get your code or whatever. But
if you backed it at that level,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I need to find it.
You're fine.
What was I talking about?
You are fine.
I can't find it anywhere.
It doesn't exist.
What was I talking about? Did I write that or did you write that? I know it's in my color, but...
You wrote that.
I'm so confused. There's no version number written anywhere.
Well, they knew that it was going to bother you, and so they deleted it from the world.
This does feel like that a little bit, right?
It's a little bit like La Moustache. Have you ever heard of La Moustache, the movie?
No.
It's a movie. It's a French movie about a man that has a mustache and he decides to shave his mustache off, and no one makes a big deal of it. And he's had one for so long, so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my friends. It's gonna be awesome." So he shaves his mustache off, and like no one reacts at all. Like, and his wife doesn't react. And then finally, when he just like explodes at her and is like, "You haven't mentioned my mustache. I was so like I did this," and she's like, "What are you talking about? You've never had a mustache." And then it's like, the whole rest of the movie is him, like, is he crazy? Is it a plot? Is he just Delulu? That's you with this version number.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit like it. I can't see anything anywhere on the internet about this version number. Right, I'm just going to move on.
And
I'm sure
later.
it'll keep me up at night. No, definitely not. I'm not, like, scrolling their Twitter. I don't understand.
Did you back it on Kickstarter?
The version number, why was I? Yeah, but not at alpha, so I don't have the alpha.
Maybe you wrote that or you put that in because you had mentioned the version numbers of the ones before, so you were just like, we're not going to talk about it.
I don't know. Maybe that. I bet. Did I accidentally put that in the wrong thing? Was I actually meant to? Was that meant to be in the Snackle one or something?
Maybe.
I bet it was something like that. Anyway, moving on. Ova Magica. They have released their last update of 2023 and said that 2024 will, and this is a quote, 100% be the release year.
Uh-huh.
So I look forward to Over Magica coming out in 2025.
Woo!
Yeah. It just feels like that was a mistake to say. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. But yeah, not much to say.
They've also said that it probably won't be before mid 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's all we've got on that one.
Cool.
Next we have Turnip Boy crossed with Super Raft Boat Together. So there's a game apparently called Super Raft Boat Together. I have not. This is not a farming game. But it does look quite crazy. And there's a new level of it with Turnip Boy in there.
I haven't played either of these games, so cool. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. I like Turnip Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting crossover. I can see why they did it because it does seem like a Turnip Boy kind of game. Like, I could see myself playing this game at some point, but I also have too many games to play. So, Stardew Valley, that game, Concerned Ape has posted a screenshot which has a lot of stuff in it, but it's showing a New Year festival, which honestly, I'm surprised we didn't have a New Year festival before. Did we not have something?
I don't think so. I also don't know. I think I've only ever gotten into the second year in Stardew Valley once. So I'm not surprised that I didn't know that this was a thing. Or if it was a thing. This one looks cool. It talks about like fortune. People in the comments are absolutely losing their minds because there's heart-shaped fireworks. But people always lose their mind every time Concerned Ape drops a screenshot, so that's not surprising. So I don't know. It looks good. Excited that he
knows exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. He's still pumping stuff out. It's cool.
The other thing I found interesting about this is, so you look like you're looking at a little card and it says good fortune to you in the coming year. And I wonder whether, because obviously Stardew Valley, you might not know, listeners, but Stardew Valley has a luck system. So each day you have like a certain luck number, and that defines a bunch of things, including how often you find ore in the mines. That's kind of the biggest one. But I wonder whether this will affect luck at all. Like, is this saying good fortune to you in the coming year? Is that going to actually increase your luck for the next year by a bit? And if you get a negative one, is that going to... Or am I just reading into this too much and it's just a random card that everybody gets?
Who knows at this point. It also has a cow on it, so I wonder if like it's whatever's in the middle of the card. Like, what if there's a good fortune to you in the coming year and the middle is like a fruit? Like, is this luck for the cows? Is it?
Well, so I mean, luck is just luck in the game unless he's completely changed it so that luck is different for each different thing. That would be a lot of unnecessary work, I think.
Who knows, man? I really think
it also doesn't look like any of the cows in Stardew.
He posted it on Happy New Year. What if it is literally just him posting something that shows him? It's him saying Happy New Year.
That's a good point. That was
12 a.m.
That was
January
at midnight
1st. Yeah,
in Eastern time, right?
What if it's just him saying Happy New Year?
Because I just didn't know. I didn't notice that because it was 5 a.m. my time, so I obviously didn't notice that. But yeah, that's midnight Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great. So, yeah, another concerned tweet to talk about for an unnecessary amount of time. Next, we have Pixel Cross Story of Seasons. And this is, I mean, it's like Picross, but obviously it's not branded Picross, but it's that kind of game. But Story of Seasons version. So, yeah, that's a thing.
Yep, Micah's gonna play this. I really like Picross, but I don't know if I would play like a Story of Seasons specific one or anything. I usually just play the ones that are free on like that I can download and play, and I'll play it for like 3 weeks straight and just play a heck ton of it, and then that's it, and then I'm done. But this looks cute. I'm sure other people will like it. I know Michael will like it, and it's coming on the 27th of February, so something to look forward to.
I sent Micah a message with just the link to the video that will be in the show notes on the 23rd of December, and then on Christmas Day, he replied to me and said, I passed out when I saw this and only just recovered in time to say Merry Christmas. So I think he's excited.
Might be excited. Oh my goodness.
That is coming in on the 27th of February this year. So, Pokemon Day.
Yeah, Pokemon Day.
That's me just double checking. Yes, it is February. Correct. That is.
I was just gonna go with it.
And our final news update of the episode is another new game called Tales of Psyche.
Psyche? Yeah, I think you're right. Psyche.
We'll go with that. Psyche. So this is coming to Kickstarter soon. There is a Steam page up, but obviously it's not released yet. They're planning to release apparently this year, which is interesting. So I wonder if this is just get it over the money for the Kickstarter being marketing or whatever, or maybe it's just the 2024 is early access. Who knows? Anyway, so the blurb for this is: embark on Psyche, a fantasy farming adventure amidst yokai legends. Can you restore a countryside inn to its former glory, forge connections with extraordinary characters, and uncover the hidden wonders of this magical world? So it's farming and it's yokai. So what more could you want?
Meh.
Wow.
I'm sure some people will like it.
It looks like the yokai bit is you shapeshift into other creatures and you can be those creatures when you play the game.
Okay. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not into it, but
still not interested.
No.
Fair enough. I think it looks interesting. It's a 3D adventure game. It looks really cool. There's a bit where he jumps off a cliff and transforms into a flying creature and just flies around, and then he's on the farm and he transforms into a boar type thing and tills the ground. It's kind of like Paleo Pines, right, where you use the dinosaurs for things, but you are the creatures, you're transforming into them. I think it's cool.
I look forward to seeing more of it.
I think this has got the best fishing in any game as well, because they transform into this little water creature, jump into the water, see a fish, and literally just suck it up. They just I got it now.
They Kirby it. I will say I loved the
look, Kirby a fish.
Yeah. My favorite thing was you doing the sucking noise and then saying "I've got it now," but with Your mouth is full. I want to know. Oh, we're off the rails. That was lovely. Yeah, I think I need to see more.
I don't want to eat a fish that somebody has Kirby'd. That's all I'm saying.
But it's a fish that you have Kirby'd.
Well, yeah, but surely the fish aren't just like, presumably I'm selling the fish, right?
But how are they going to know? They're not going to know.
They're not going to know. They're never. How are they going to know?
How are they going to know? They're not going to know. How would they know?
No Kirbying fish.
Kirby
and
that
then
fish.
Selling them.
Oh,
It's bad.
oh! Did you? Are you?
So the Kickstarter launches on the 12th of January. So presumably we'll get more information.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, that's the news. We're now going to talk about Coral Island. So a little bit of housekeeping around this. Obviously, we did have a previous episode about that, which it sounds like Codey listened to again in preparation for this. I did not. Mm-hmm. I thought I should, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. I will link that in the show notes if you want to go have a re-listen to that. Was it probably around the end of 2022?
Ooh, I don't remember. I just... Let's see who can find it.
No, apparently May 23.
Wow.
Wow, that took a long time.
Well.
Why so long?
I don't know. But it's still... Yeah, you had thoughts, and now it's out for reels, and so we can discuss that.
Yeah, So I wanted, first of all, to get Codey. You've not been on an episode about Coral Island yet. You've given a little bit of you think it was obviously good. You think it was robbed from its Game of the Year position. So give us a quick rundown of what you think about the game. We obviously don't want to go into too much detail about specifics. We can get into that later. But yeah, go for it.
I mean, everything that you said on the Game of the Year episode, I echo. The fact that I think that it does everything that Stardew does, but better. It does things that Stardew doesn't do. So like the museum is like it has the quote unquote community center, which is the temple, but then it also has like a huge museum that you can use. And so it has that that's really cool. All of the characters are attractive. I can't find fault which is a little can someone be a real human, please? But I like the bug catching mechanic is really cool. Some of them are really fast, some of them are really slow. Like some you do get to like creep up on, and some you have to just like yeet yourself at. Like that the mines are more expansive. So I will say I think I'm on like the second or third day of my first summer. So I'm not far in the game, but I am enjoying the level of automation, where, so I just have a heck ton of sprinklers and they all do like the surrounding 8 tiles. So I just like the first day of the month, I set up all these sprinklers and hoe everything and plant seeds, and then I never have to worry about it again. I just walk away and I do other things. Yeah. And I really like that. And they're not difficult to make. I felt like in Stardew they were a lot more difficult to make. But yeah, so I think that's like my general summary is I like it. It is like largely positive. I can't really think of anything that's negative, honestly. Because I think I just need to play more. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you, Al?
So I want to talk about the automation first thing, because you brought that up, right? Because I think it's fantastic, right? And I think it's so much better than it was as well. So you're right in that you've got your standard, what they called sprinklers, and you can just use them as normal sprinklers. But they also so first of all, they have like the 9x9 level of sprinkler. Interestingly, in the Game of the Year episode, I was like, they've got a 5x5 sprinkler. I didn't mean to say 5x5. Of course they have a 5x5. Stardew has a 5x5. My point is they have a 9x9, right? And that's fantastic. 9x9, amazing. 81 squares, 80 squares if you've got your sprinkler. It's 80 squares of automated farming, and not only does it automate your watering, but it also, you can get this additional thing. I don't know if you've had this yet. Have you had the additions to the sprinkler?
So the only addition that I've had is the fertilizing one.
Okay, yeah, cool. I mean, that's good. That's good in and of itself. But let me tell you, when you upgrade to the highest level of addition to the sprinkler, this thing will sow your seeds, it will fertilize your seeds, it will water your seeds, it will harvest your seeds, right? So now what I'm doing at the beginning of a season is I'm just buying 1,000 seeds and 1,000 fertilizer. I go put them in the machine, and then I never have to think about it again until the first day of the next season. And it harvests everything. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. And obviously, it's one of these things where I know some people enjoy the manual labor part of that, but I'm very much a progression kind of person in these games. Like, that's fine to do to start with, and that's kind of the monotonous nature of that part is fine to start with, but I want to see improvements on that, and this has automation everywhere. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, the level of this.
How much money do you have?
Oh goodness, I haven't opened the game in a few weeks.
Because, like, I have not gone more than, like, I think that at one point I had, like, 3,000 or 4,000, but then I ended up upgrading something, so then I was back down to 1,000. But each seed is, like, 20 or 30 monies. So it would be, like, 20 or 30,000 if you're buying 1,000 seeds. That's bananas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
No, I have quite a lot of money. Double check what my deal is. But yeah, it is crazy, and I love it. It's fantastic. I think being able to do all that, because, like, I think maybe like half of my farm is now just plots of land with these automated things. Like, it's amazing. I love it. It's fantastic. The game's updating, so I can't actually check just now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Automation. I don't think this, like, I think that is what it is, right? If you like automation in farming games, the automation in this game is fantastic. Could they add more? Yeah, they probably could, but it's still great because they've also put, like, some thought into what I find really annoying is when you've got, like, oh, here's a sprinkler that does this many plots of land, and there's this that has this many, and then the scarecrow does this, but it doesn't really overlap in a right way. If you have everything maximum, you've got the 9x9 sprinkler. You can have 4 of them completely contained within the biggest scarecrow. So you'll have obviously one line through that isn't covered in stuff, but I use that for a path. But the 4 of those will fit perfectly inside a scarecrow, right? There's no off by one or annoyances in terms of, like, how you lay out your farm, which I really appreciate. Obviously, there are still issues in that if you get the, like, is it 3 or is it 4 by 4? I can't remember the different levels of sprinklers.
Starts with 3 by 3.
Because it's 3 by 3, and then is it straight to 5 by 5?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. It's been so long since I've had anything other than just the 9x9, so I can't even remember, and the game's still updating. So
5 by 5 seems right. I think that's what you and Bev
3
were
by 3 and then 5 by
talking
5,
about
and then it goes up to
when
9x9
together. So that makes sense that that's what it is.
The 9x9 didn't exist at that point, though. Most of the, like, top level of things didn't exist at that point, and almost all the automation stuff didn't exist when we did the last game. Yeah, I like that. I really like how they've improved the automation.
So the other thing that I had a question about, so after listening to the last episode, you mentioned that your biggest complaint was that there were so many things that were tied together or integrated. So, for example, if you have to mine to do the farming, you have to give gifts to the turtles, but you need to farm for that. For me, like, I also noticed that you need to mine to upgrade your tools. So like I just was curious, like, do you still feel the same now that you've played more? Because this has been back then. I don't think you played that much. Like, is this still something that you think is annoying, or is it something that you appreciate now, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It isn't any less integrated, but I think that I think it's fine. Like, I actually don't dislike it now, and I don't know whether that's a change in me or something has changed in the game that makes it feel less awkward. I think part of the problem was that everything was very limited when we last played it, right? So, yeah, you have to mine to do this, you have to do that, but like only the first 2 mines existed, right? You couldn't get all of the things you needed.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of felt like you were hitting brick walls all over the place, which affected your play in other areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm okay with how it is now, because I actually, like, you can ignore things if you want, right? It's a lot like Stardew in that aspect, in that you can ignore things if you want to. It's going to slow down your progress in other ways, but you probably don't care about that. And actually, one of the things I noticed, because when it got to 1.0, they cleared out the save files and gave you the amount of money you'd made in that game into the next one. The beginning of my game was just buying everything, right? And actually, if you just focus on one thing, you can just bypass everything with money eventually. Like, you can buy almost all of the materials you need for anything, which I think is a big change. I don't think you could buy the kelp previously, whereas now you can. So you don't need to do the diving to get the sprinklers, which was, I think, the thing that frustrated me before. But also, they all have story attached to them now as well, so it doesn't feel like you're just doing it to advance other things. You're also going through a story.
Yeah, I think I agree, like, that
I will
there
say
is the different story aspects to it. Like, there's quests that, like, to get you through the mines, like for the giants. There's quests to go diving. I guess there's not as many quests for, like, farming or fishing or bug catching, but I care about that a lot because of the museum. Yeah, well,
this is the thing about the museum, right? You'll want to do that anyway, because you have to get to other parts, right? So, like, you have to upgrade the town rank to get certain things, and you can't upgrade the town rank to the levels you want to unless you're actually continuing with the museum. I finally got into the game. I currently have 3.3 million currencies.
Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
That's my current money, not my overall money.
Where are you
So if I go in, let me see what my overall...
are you year 2?
I think I'm in year 3.
Okay. Makes a little bit more sense.
I'm just loading up the save. It just tells you how much money you have on the save before you load it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've done most things in this game now, which is why I'm going to come on to the next bit about the missing content, because that's my biggest annoyance with this game now.
Yeah, I am curious about that because I have not experienced that. So, or I guess I'm not sure what you mean.
My total earnings is 5.6 million.
Ridiculous.
And bear in mind that, so I say, like, obviously I spent a lot of money at the beginning. Like, when I say I spent a lot of money, that was like 100k, right? So, and that goes down really fast at the beginning of the game, right? So it's not like I mean, obviously I did get an advantage doing that, but I'd gotten all that money in a previous save. And I think within the first week I'd used all that money up. Basically, I used it to be like, oh, I'm going to upgrade as many tools as possible as fast as possible. And that's how I spent my initial 100k.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so let's go on to that then, because this is my biggest bugbear with this game. I absolutely love this game. I think this is one of, if not the best, one of the best farming games ever made. And I think that I would only see myself now going back to Stardew for new updates and nostalgia. Which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that this, I think, in almost every aspect is now better than Stardew, which is a tough feat, but and it took 8 years to get to this point, but there we go.
Yeah, I think the reason why I would like concur with that is because of the graphics. I'm not a big 2D pixel art human. I really like the 3D of this game, but because because I know how to, and also because I'm more environmentalist, and that's kind of I've pitched this game to people as 3D Stardew with Animal Crossing and environmentalism, and to me that ticks a bunch of boxes. So anyway, continue.
No, you're right. The environmental aspect of things is obviously a big thing. Stardew isn't anti-environmental, but it's not explicitly this is how we're going to live, right? And you even do have like there's less choice in this game for like I'm going to be bad, right? It's just automatically assumed that you're going to be good, right? There's no way to like do the JoJo route, the JoJo route that you do in Stardew. There's no way to do that here, which is fine because that's the point of the game, right? Like it's built by people who very much care about the environment and they're building a game to show that this is important, right? So they're not going to go, oh, actually, but you can run the corporation that's currently destroying the world. I can see why they don't do that.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the point I was bringing across of that?
Just that, so I had said that that's 3D Stardew with Animal Crossing and environmentalism. And you were basically saying that, like, it's not...
Yes, yeah.
It's not that Stardew is not environmental. Like, it's not that it's anti-environmentalism or anything, but it is not explicitly, which this game is.
Yeah, I think that Stardew is probably, I would say, I think it's explicitly anti-capitalist, which can tie in, but it's not the same thing. And that's fine. With regards to the graphics, I think you're right. I think there is a type of person who loves 8-bit graphics, pixel art, right? But I also think there's a lot of people that get put off by that. And I can see that there would be people who would be playing Stardew despite its art style, not because of it.
Yep.
I love how they both look in different ways, right? I obviously have a lot of nostalgia with regards to pixel art because that was the style of games when we started playing games, and I still kind of love them. But also this game is gorgeous.
Yep.
But I think this game is not... I don't think it should be out of early access because it's still missing chunks of content, and not in the way that Stardew added stuff on. So when you played Stardew before the first big content, nobody would go, oh, this is missing this feature. Nobody would go, oh, Stardew's missing a cinema, right? It needs a cinema. Why has it not got a cinema, right? But that's a thing that he added to the game later on. Nobody would say, oh, it's missing a whole other island that you can go to and do these things. But what I would say is that Coral Island is missing things. And it's not missing things in a, I think it should have this. It's missing things in a, the game tells you that it's missing them. So, for example, when you're diving, and there's going to be minor spoilers for the story of Coral Island. So if you don't want to listen, if you want to play the game first, go put in your 100 hours to the game and then come back to this bit. This is your spoiler warning. It
doesn't have to be 100 hours. I think I only played like 15 or 20 hours.
Yeah, and have you got to the point where the Merfolk Kingdom story stops? No, you haven't.
I guess that's what I'm curious. Like, what do you mean? Where does it stop for you?
So, where are you in the Merfolk Kingdom story?
So I am supposed to heal the coral tree.
Okay, so you've got to the kingdom and now you're going to continue.
Yeah,
doing
I went.
I mean, it's funny because it's like, oh, you need to do this, right? But you're just doing the same thing that you've already been doing.
Yeah, so I've gone past it, and I am now where the gold coral is. Gold kelp.
Okay, so once you have healed the coral tree, there is no more story at that point for the Merfolk Kingdom, which you might think, oh, that's fine. But the weird thing is, the game acts like there is more story, and it's almost like they go, oh great, thanks for doing this, but ... and then there's nothing else. It's really hard to explain, but the way the story ends, it's like a Marvel end credit scene. That's what it feels like.
Oh no.
And to tie into that, there is no romance with the merfolk, which they are planning on doing. That's part of what they're doing. But because there is no romance, they've also just like, none of the characters have any personality outside of the actual story beats. So once you've finished the story, you can't talk to any of the merfolk. You go and you try and talk to one and it says, oh, Lady Denali has nothing to say. And you're like, how can that be? She was very talkative just 5 minutes ago during the story, and you're saying she has nothing to say? This makes no sense. Okay. So that feels really jarring to me. right? That you go through and you do all this and you start to get to know these characters, and then you hit an arbitrary point and then they go, not talking to you anymore.
God. I mean, isn't that how relationships go? You hit a point where you just don't have much, you don't have anything else to say, and you devolve and you just become roommates, and it's just basic, and the passion's gone, the romance is gone. That's just what
Are you doing okay, Codey?
I'm fine. No, I mean, so that's okay. So that definitely, I'm still at the point where they're still talking to me. I can still like go up to Denali and she'll still talk to me. So, yeah, I have yet to hit that point. That is a little interesting. I wonder if it's like a DLC that's going to come out or what?
It sure well better not be an extra cost. That makes no sense, right? Like, so.
I mean, I haven't paid anything. I will say I'm playing on Game Pass, so.
There's also a thing like just in a similar sort of vein. So the mine story, how far are you in the mine?
I'm in the water mines.
Which one's that?
The water one, the second one. The silver one.
The second one. So you can do the 4 mines. And initially you're like, okay, great, that's that done. But then you, first of all, when I first did this, now this was a bug, but I got a quest that was impossible to do because they're like, oh, hey, do this thing. And you're like, this thing doesn't exist. And they're like, oh no. And then that quest just subtly disappeared in the next update. I get that. That's a bug. Blah, blah, blah. That's fine.
It happens.
But they make it clear that there is another giant out there. Mm-hmm. Right? And they're like, oh, hey, there's another giant. Don't know how to find him. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, what do I do to find him? There's nothing you can do to find him because they've just not implemented that bit. But they told you that the giant exists. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay.
I mean, it makes sense that you're not going to know more about it because it makes Grog sad to think about. So you have to be respectful of Grog's trauma, and you're not going to know more about the 4th giant.
I think it's less weird than the Merfolk one, right? I can if it was just that, I'd be like, okay, sure, fine. This is a thing they want to add later on. Sure. The Merfolk one specifically, it just feels so weird.
Or it's just something that'll never be answered, and you have to be okay with not getting that ending, that cosure.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I have not gone further enough into the game to experience those issues.
Yeah. And I will say, like, it feels a little bit like I've had 100 hours in this game and there's some unanswered questions and some bits that feel a bit rough at this point. It does feel a little bit like I'm moaning for nothing, but I just don't understand why you would come out of early access with very clearly missing content that you're telling people is missing. Like that. I think my point is there's a big difference between what Stardew did, which is this is a complete game. Now how can I think of other ways to add to this game? Here are some cool ideas I've had to add to the game. And this is something we need to add to the game, and we've made it very clear in the game is going to exist at some point. And it doesn't even feel like it's a mystery. It just feels weird when they stop talking to you. Mm-hmm. Those are two very different things, I feel.
I see that here's another spoiler warning for people. Are you talking about the fire giant?
No,
okay.
You get the fire giant.
Okay, you're talking about something after that.
I am.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Because yeah, I saw that there's like, it looks like it's a bug that people have talked about, but they said, yeah, I don't know. I guess like it's just not, I don't know. Redacted. I don't know what. Oh wait, there's a second one? I don't know. Stuff to be added. Period.
Yeah, so there is it's the petrified perpetrator. Find out where the last giant is. That was the quest I got after a little bit of conversation. And yeah, on the Reddit it does that is just not a thing.
Okay.
So.
Well, cool. Some more stuff to look forward to. As you said, fingers crossed that it's not money. That it's not going to cost money.
Yeah, and I'm not. This is the thing. Like, I'm not. it just feels annoying to me that they've added that, like, it's, hey, it's out of early access, 1.0 now, but there's stuff that they're specifically saying. It's not a massive thing, right? Because most people won't get to those bits, right? Most people will just play the game for, 20, 30 hours or whatever, and then stop, or they'll restart, or they'll just focus on romance, or like, not everybody is going to be playing it to this ridiculous degree, right? I get that. That's fine.
The most important
But I did.
The two most important questions are, who are you romancing?
So I am married to Lily.
Okay. I'm trying to remember who she is.
So obviously the problem with this game is there are too many people that you want to romance, right? But I eventually settled on the software developer who works from home.
Yourself.
What are the chances?
You've married yourself. Oh my gosh. Do you want to guess who I went for?
What
or
about
am
you?
Going for?
I need to. I don't know. Can you romance the museum guy?
It is the museum guy.
Because that. Yeah, there we go. I was just like, that would be my guess, but I don't know for certain you can romance him.
You can. I haven't figured out anything that he loves yet. So I keep trying to give him things that I think that he'll like, but I haven't. Yeah, it's the museum guy. And then it's really funny because everything that whenever I talk to him more and he says certain things, he says things that remind me of my partner. So, I'm just like, oh, there it is. So, but yeah, that's who I'm romancing. I'm like barely into it because I'm not very far into the game, clearly. So
that's fair enough. I will say I'm also really annoyed. I really wanted to romance Senja. I don't know whether you've met Senja or not. She's not in the game a huge amount. She's in the Band of Smiles, but she's not romanceable, and it's really frustrating to me. Mm-hmm. There we go. So okay. I settled.
Oh no. No. No, Scott was my first pick. Like, I saw him and I was like, oh, look at this cute little nerd that runs the museum. Like, I also would love to run the museum. So.
Do you know what's really funny is it took me legitimately like 50 hours playing in game to notice that Scott and Ben were different characters.
Oh no. Ben is the stoner.
And I don't know why. Yeah, I know, but I just thought like, oh, he's off work. That's.
Oh my gosh.
Their face look very similar. They have the same colored hair. Now, granted, they're different lengths of hair.
Yeah.
But like, they felt very similar to me.
Oh my
and
goodness.
it was a point where I had a quest for Ben, and I went up to Scott and I was like, oh wait, you're the different person.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Yikes.
I didn't even. This is the thing. There is a literal set of twins in this game, and I don't mix them up.
Well, because one of them has purple hair.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway,
okay.
I don't know.
The other important question is
it's the biggest problem with this game. The biggest problem with this game is trying to figure out who to romance. It's difficult. There's too many.
It's pretty easy for me. The other question is, did you adopt an animal? And if you did, who?
No.
It was one of the first things that I did where I went and like looked at the animal shelter and I picked out, I was like, who do I want? And there were two dogs that I wanted.
This is where I'm going. There's an animal shelter? Where's the animal shelter?
It's in the town hall.
There's in the town? Oh, I remember seeing this. Oh.
Yeah, so there's like...
I played this game for 100 hours and I didn't know what that was.
There's also a library in there. So yeah, you can pick one of the cats or one of the dogs. But like I wanted to do this so bad and I couldn't. You can't do it until your town, I think, receives more than a rank F. Like you have to increase your town rank high enough. But I was like mad because
I'm definitely there now.
Why isn't it letting me buy a bed? Like I just want to buy a bed so I can take one of these dogs home. So the two dogs, there's one that's name is Codey, which is funny, but it kind of looks like a little fox. Like it's like a little like gray and white foxy looking dog, and I really like that one. But then I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that they have a long-haired tricolor dog that is named Bode when you get them, but you can rename them. And it looks exactly like my baby girl. It looks exactly like Stella. So I got that dog and I named it Stella. So
you can get a lizard?
Yeah, there's a bearded dragon as well. I want to get the bearded dragon, but I think you have to build something in your house. She's in there. She's real cute. You can see her.
How did I not know this thing existed?
I don't know. Get you a pet, especially with all the money that you have. Like, I only have an indoor pet bed right now, and so Stella can't come outside.
I could buy them all.
Well, I don't know if you can have multiple animals. I think you can only. Well, I don't know actually. But I can't buy.
Let's find out.
The outdoor. I can't buy the outdoor pet bed yet because I just don't have. It's like 3,000 monies, and I don't. Anytime I get that much money, I upgrade a tool. So, but yeah, I got Stella in the game.
Also, there's a pride flag on the town hall, so.
I missed that.
Did you miss it?
Where?
It doesn't really move much in the wind, and it's at the direction that it's really difficult to notice, but like literally above the door on the outside.
Awesome.
I'm just saying, you can definitely add multiple outdoor pet houses. Let me see if you can then fill them with lots of different animals. There's live experimentation, people.
I'm excited because if I can get the other dog, I will. But I also want the bearded dragon.
Right, I have placed 10 of them.
Okay. Oh my
Clearly, I've got too much money when I'm like, I'm just going to go adopt 10 pets.
Yeah, I was going to say, 10's a bit excessive, my dude.
I'm probably not going to say, like, go to sleep. I'm just experimenting for the fun of it. See what happens. It's funny that it's the same enclosure for a cat and a dog and a rabbit and a lizard.
Oh, I didn't know there's rabbits, too. Two things to mention while you're doing this experiment. One is that 2019 was 5 years ago. And two is my Tetris update. I forgot my Tetris update. So I have 1.8 million in Tetris now. I have a feeling that they're shifting the baseline though, which sucks. Because the only cruise that I can see now is 3 million. But I can for 300,000, which I could do almost 6 times right now. I can get $1,000 off a cruise. So I don't know if that stacks or if you can only do that once. I also don't know how much cruises cost. Like, what if it's like 10 grand and so 1,000 is like nothing? But yeah, it was a shifting baseline for a while. But I still have my kidneys and, yeah. I also, if I'm going to do one, I want to do
So you have your kidneys and no cruise.
And
so
no
just...
But I'm enjoying the game. Another thing that when I go on one of the cruises, I'm going to make sure that I go on one that has, that departs and returns to the same place. Because some of them are like, oh, it departs this place and then it ends at this other place. So you're going to have to get like a freaking plane ticket to go back to where you need to go, which is annoying. So anyway, pet update finished.
So, Codey, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You can only have one.
That's fine. I picked the one that I liked. I mean, so wait, can you not have one of each? I want the bearded dragon.
One pet.
Because I have 2 dogs and a bearded dragon right now in real life. Lame.
Yeah. And it looks like you can't even like return a pet that you've got. I mean, obviously, because that would be really...
Yeah.
But...
That's not how that works.
Yeah, so when you've chosen a pet, that's it. You're done.
Cool. Well, I picked the one that looks like Stella, so I'm not unhappy.
I will say, if you only let us adopt one pet, why do you let us buy 10, 10 of the bed? I'm definitely not saving it now that I've spent 30 grand on pet enclosures.
Yeah. Time to reload.
Wild. That is, how on earth do you choose when you can only have one? There's so many.
I mean, I just looked at all of them.
I mean, it's Bode.
Yeah, for me, it's Bode, period. End of story. Because it's just...
Like, before you said that you'd selected Bode, I looked through them and went, well, it's clearly Bode. Like, does the pet do anything in your game?
So far, no. So far I just have Bode, who I have renamed Stella. She's only in my house. Like there's a dog bed in my house and she never leaves the dog bed that is in my house, which is really sad. I want her to be able to run around. But I have to buy the outdoor pet enclosure, I'm assuming, because she is just stuck in the house. So I've never seen her leave. Which is weird. I would like her to go with me everywhere. Because
I mean, fair.
I have Stella do. She goes with me.
Let me quit this game before I accidentally save after spending 30 grand on these things. This is why we test things.
Yep.
I mean, not like I'm going to be poor if I do end up not being able to get that money back, but you know.
You could buy another
there we go.
100 and still be fine.
Sure. I mean, fine is an interest. I haven't. It's the first of spring, so I haven't bought my crops yet.
Oh no, are you going to be at 3.1 million? The travesty.
Look, the crops get really expensive when you want the good ones, okay? That's all I'm saying. Also, by the way, here's something. If you put a crop in the greenhouse, in this game, they never die. Like if you have like one of the ones that regenerates, like a strawberry or hot pepper or something like that, the one that have multiple fruits, there's not a maximum number of harvests. They grow and give you stuff forever.
Is that not how Stardew does it?
No, there's a maximum number you can get from them. So I think with like strawberries, you can have 3 harvests and then you have to what's the word I'm looking for? Replant.
Resow.
New seeds.
Interesting, because I've not...
there was the other thing. The other thing that I didn't talk in the last episode that they've now added. So I complained in the last episode about not having a seed maker.
Oh, yeah.
And because in Stardew, the way that you get better crops is you put crops into the seed maker and it can make better seeds that you then grow into better crops, which you then put back into the seed maker and you get better crops. The way this game does it is very different. So first of all, as you upgrade your skills, you get seeds just by cutting down the crops, which is cool. You know, just free seeds. That's nice. But also you upgrade the quality of all seeds. So you're just buying seeds at better qualities. So it's in the same places you get like the other automation stuff. But yeah, you go, I'm now upgrading all the seeds to bronze level, all the seeds to silver. And it doesn't mean that everything out of those will be that certain level, but like the majority of them will be. So like I've now upgraded all of the seed quality level to osmium, and more than half of them come out as osmium quality crops now, with like most of the rest being gold and then like a few being silver and bronze, and then there's like very occasionally one that is just the base level and you're like, okay, there. Well done, you tried.
He's doing his best.
He's doing something anyway. So yeah, it's I really like that way of doing things. I like how they've done it a bit differently. I think the obviously the seed maker has the advantage in that you get more seeds for free, but I think all of the other things that you get out of this gives you a better advantage. The fact that you can just buy higher quality seeds means that when you're in the late game, you can just like pile on the money so fast.
You don't say. Mr. Moneybags over there.
Look, if you put in 100 hours, you too will have 3 million in monies.
Well, if I put in 100 hours and I'm not at 3 million, I'm coming to Scotland.
Then you've just not played the game well enough. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Okay.
I love that you get a bed in the Merfolk Kingdom. Yeah. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, and I liked it because I do just kind of do the Merfolk. Like, I just kind of stay down there. But then when I got my dog, I stopped staying down there. Because I was like, she gonna be lonely.
Does your dog not come with you underwater?
No, she gonna be lonely. So I always go home. But I do like the other thing that I didn't realize for a really long time, for an embarrassingly long time, is that you can drop the anchor when you're diving anywhere you are by clicking on the Xbox controller. It's the right trigger. So I was running.
How long did you figure out? Did you figure that out?
Past the Merfolk Kingdom.
No, Codey, no.
I remembered him saying it, like, because you have the little robot that's with you, and I remember him saying, like, find the anchor spots and they'll pull you up. And I was like, okay. And then you get your first, like, fast travel point down there, and I'm like, I'm not seeing any of the anchor spots. And then at one point I was like, I wonder if it's a button press. And then I just, like, pressed all the buttons, and sure enough, at one point it was like bringing the anchor down, and I was like, son of a heck.
Codey, does it not say on the screen when you're diving?
It does, like, so the very first time, like, in the tutorial aspect of it, it says, like, if you do, like, I didn't read it. I was just like, cool. There's spots where there's anchors, and there's, you use an anchor to leave. Cool. Sounds good. But then at one point, like, the robot was like, you can move the anchor whenever you want. And I was like, how? How? So I was just using the fast travel for a really long time and, like, running all the way back to the fast travel. I also like that if it's like 2300 and you're still diving, it doesn't make you pass out and then you wake up and you've lost your stuff.
Yes.
Like it just kicks you, like, your robot's like, we're leaving, and then it just spits you back out at the top, and then you have plenty of time to run home. Okay, this is my last point. The last time you and I were talking about this game, I mentioned that with my ADHD, it's really difficult because by the time I've, like, dedicated and decided what I want to do that day, the day's, like, already halfway over. But they do have in the settings, you can slow down game time, like, considerably, the in-game amount of time that passes. So I did that. So now, like, an in-game day lasts maybe like 20 minutes. Or to a half an hour. Like, it lasts considerably longer. And so it makes it so that I can really, like, focus and, like, get a lot of stuff done in a day, and figure out, like, what exactly I want to do with the day. So I enjoy that aspect, like, the fact that they give that as a possibility.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's cool. Codey, I just double checked. It says on the screen to how you make the whole time.
I mean, it doesn't say, okay, I'm going to look when I play, because I'm playing on Game Pass. It might be different. I will look. And if it's there, I will say so. So, listeners, if you want to know if it's there on Game Pass, you gotta come to the Patreon, or to the Slack. Gotta come to the Slack, and I'll tell you.
Okay, cool. Well, I think, is that everything? Anything else you want to talk about this game?
Nope. That's it. I like it a lot. Play it. Let us know if you got another type of dog, or if you got the bearded dragon, and how cute the bearded dragon is.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Codey, for joining to chat about Coral Island for our second harvest.
Thank you. This is very fun.
Codey, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm still on Twitter at Codey Mathis. It's just my name, same as Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram at Hiking Beagle, Beagle, B-E-Eagle. You can also find me on the Slack. So join the Slack by supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/THSpod. Al, where can they find you?
You're changing up the order of things. You can find me on mastodon.scot and Twitter at thescotbot. You can find the podcast on Tumblr and Twitter at THSpod. You can find links to everything to do with the podcasts at harvestseason.club, our website, including a feedback form. If you want to send us feedback, you can do it there. As Codey said, you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/THSpod. There's also a link from the website. I think that's everything. Thank you, Codey, again for joining me.
Thank you again for having me.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. And until next time, have a good harvest. The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.
I mean, I'm assuming it was very out of sync, but I said it at the exact same time that you said it on my end. So they will line up beautifully. Like, it was honestly
I left
one of our best, like...
Well,
our best ones.
That's not how the editing works, but fine.
You're going to fix it. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great.
Well, yeah, I always fix it, Cody.